Welcome to my channel. I'm super excited to announce that I will be starting my Sun series videos, and I will be talking about having your sun sign in a different houses and a different zodiac signs. So this video I mainly focus on really giving more depth or spiritual perspective around the sun sign in astrology, and also maybe briefly go over the 12th house, like having your sun sign in the different houses. And after that, I will be making videos, like short videos describing having your sun in a different zodiac signs. So it would be clear about like what's the meaning of having your sun sign in a specific house and specific zodiac sign. So yeah, let's get started. The sun in astrology. I think most people know a little bit knowledge about astrology is their sun sign, and that's how it was for me. It's completely understandable. And now we know that like your astrology chart is way complicated than just your sun sign. But let's just focus on the sun sign for a minute. Sun in astrology is like, from more spiritual perspective, it represents your ego, your sense of self, and how you define yourself, what kind of definition you resonate with yourself. It's like a groundness in a sense of, you know, who you are. And in traditional astrology, it also like represents the father figure or authority figure, like anyone that who is in your life, a male figure that has authority or making decisions in your life. Those are represented by the sun. Also, like the governments, any like big structure that has authority, also represented by the sun. So from spirituality perspective, like balancing the sun energy is very important, because like if you have very strong ego, you might become someone like very self-centered, egoistic, or narcissistic, like the universe evolve around me, like every planet evolves around the sun. So if when you go on like a lower vibration of the sign, you can either get super egoistic and like super self-centered person, or you can get very like low ego or weak ego, where you don't have self-worth or self-esteem, and you just let people push you around, or you feel like you don't deserve anything. Like, so both those extreme sides are not healthy ego. And so balancing this sun energy in your life is very important, because it's the source of light that gives you that eternal power. It's like the battery of your phone, or battery of your life. Once you balance this energy, you can regenerate yourself, renew it yourself easily. So one thing astrology really helped me is just knowing yourself really helps you the process things comes to your way. And if you're not by, you know, life's agenda, like you can get back up your feet by the energy given by your sun sign. So I think it's really important to understand your sun sign, which house it's placed, which zodiac sign is ruling it. So it gives you the code of how to heal yourself, how to access to your inner guidance, or how to access to that inner light that helps you to go through any challenges in life. In spirituality, like it's kind of like your soul is always fighting with ego and trying to get rid of ego. But from astrology perspective, like you cannot get rid of your ego, because as long as you're in a physical body, you need to have a ego to sustain this form. So our sun sign gives us that clue how we can keep a healthy ego, which is not going to get in the way of your soul purpose, but it still serve you in a way, keep you healthy, keep you like physically and mentally healthy. So let's go through the 12 houses really quick. Oh, forgot to mention, like sun is also the masculine energy, and the moon sign in your astrology is more like a feminine energy. Anyways, so sun through 12 houses. When sun in the first house, like you have the strongest sense of self, because the first house also represents sense of self, similar to like sun. So having sun your first house, you are very grounded, you know exactly who you are, you know exactly what you want, and you know how to behave despite of what others think. So you can be very magnetic person, because we're all drawn to like confident people, that they're very self-assured, they know what they're talking about, really they trust themselves so much, like they're so assertive when they're talking. So like having sun in your first house, your sense of self is very strong and very grounded. So your ego and your sense of self is really like combined together and very grounded. And the second house is really the area of your life, your self-worth, your physical possessions. So here, having your sun here, it's more like you might self-identify with your physical possessions, or it might be something really important to you. You might work really hard, try really hard in this area compared to the rest of your areas. It's like the sun, whatever house you have sun in is like the spotlight, or you would put so much energy in that area of your life. So having second house, you might put a lot of effort in your like self-worth, and how you link that with your physical possessions and material success, basically. And having your sun in a third house, you are you have this power of communication. You might able to like transform or influence others with your communication. Could be written, it could be, you could be a great public speaker, or you could be a YouTuber talking like me, even though I don't have a sun in a third house. But anyways, like sun really magnifies and shows your talent in this area. So having sun in third house, you definitely have a talent with communication, with your words, and definitely take advantage of like whatever area you're good at, speaking, writing. You do have a transformative power in this area. And the fourth house, it's our home environment, our upbringing, what makes us feel home or safe. It's ruled by Cancer. So having sun there is, you are really, you identify with your family heritage, or like maybe your nationality, ethnicity, your parents or your grandparents, like you really identify that part of yourself. And it's like it provides you this regenerative energy, like whenever you feel like drained, and or maybe knocked down by the life, you can always retreat back that home environment to your friends from your hometown, or your family, your siblings. You can regenerate yourself pretty fast. So I guess knowing your sun sign is really like, you know exactly how to charge yourself. In the fifth house, the Leo house, having your sun there is like sun really exalts here. It loves the Leo energy. So you can be someone very good at, you're very comfortable expressing yourself and socializing, and just being who you are can be very attractive. So you could be someone like doing acting on the stage or performing, or you might have a special talent for something, and then you don't shy away showing your talents. You're very comfortable literally bragging about yourself, which is not a bad thing. So you might also crave for acknowledgement from others or praise from others. And as long as it's not coming from your egoistic agenda, like I want to be people pleaser, I think it can be still healthy and regenerative for you when you get acknowledgement or praise from others, and having that Leo energy. Having your sun in the 6th house, Virgo. Virgo really rules our daily routine, our health, our work ethics. So you are like your health and your routine, and like how you work, like hard work is really important to you. That's like part of your self-identity. And like if one of those out of line, and you might feel like a whack, like I don't know, so I just had a bad day because my routine is messed up, or my health is not good as I think, or you have really good work ethics, and when you see other people don't really take their job serious, or they don't show up on time, like it really might like stress you out, like why can't people just take it serious? And but anyway, so for you, having a certain routine, like organizing your daily affairs can be very regenerative and charging, empowering for you. And sun in the 7th house, house of Libra, it's all about our relationship with others. Could be romantic, or it could be business partnership, anyone that comes in our life and forms a certain type of relationship. So having your sun there, you are basically a social butterfly. You are very comfortable getting along with everybody, and you also make them feel comfortable, because Libra is also like about equality, being fair. So you are a very easygoing person, and having your sun there, like you might have a relationship with very important people or famous people or whatever that is. The downside though, you might also like, you might merge your identity with the relationships you have in your life. So when you go through a breakup, or you're losing someone from your family, friends, or even your partner, you might lose part of yourself, because your self-identity really comes from relationships. So it can be very hard for you to handle a loss in a relationship. But just, knowing this fact about yourself, it might be easier to process that sort of pain. Having sun in your 8th house, house of Scorpio. So you have a power of transformation. Your superpower is turning darkness into light. You're transmuting the shadow side of someone into something positive. So like, I mean, Scorpio has a bad rap, but if you have sun in your 8th house, you might be someone going to like be in someone's life, and wherever you go, you just start this crisis or transformation or this rag, because you're unconsciously pulling out the things that people don't want to face. They just shove it down there, and then they pretend that they don't exist. But Scorpios, like they have this certain like magnets in them that pulls out people's crap, and then they will hate you, but honestly you're just helping them to bring out all the things that they need to face or deal with. So you are going to cause a transformation in someone else's life, like whoever's life you walk into, their life will be transformed because of you. They might not appreciate it, but that's the role you took on. And Sun in the ninth house, house of Sagittarius. So having your Sun there, you are recognized for your knowledge, your code of ethics, and your belief system. So you might be like your regenerative power is really identify yourself with certain belief system. Like you might be strong like, oh, I'm Christian, or I am spiritual, or I'm atheist, or I'm vegan. Like you are going to identify yourself with certain belief system, and that's just part of who you are. And when you don't have anything to identify with, or coming out of certain belief system or abandoning, it might be very traumatic for you, since your identity really closely linked with that area. But like just knowing that, having that knowledge, and you know exactly how to regenerate yourself and charge yourself, and it really comes from a Sagittarius way of empowering yourself. And Sun in the 10th house, the house of Capricorn. So in this house, it's the house of our like public image and reputation. And having your house, having your sun sign here, you might just like naturally just being who you are, you might attract people in your life, or like people just might know you, and you might not know them, but you might, a lot of people know you, or you're always in a public eye. So you might be careful with like what you do in your personal life, because it seems like everything you do is going to be like in a public eye. Or you might get a like good reputation. You might be in the power, like authority figure. You might work for government, or you're always gonna shine. You're always gonna shine in a career or public image area. So that might cause others become a little bit jealous of you, but it's just like, it's very easy for you to be noticed and promoted, or even like starting your own business. So 10th house is also the house of career. So you're always gonna shine in this area of your life. And also it's like probably like the public image reputation, you might like really link your self-identity with that area of your life. If you like, let's say you lose a certain position, you lose certain power, it might take a toll on you. You might really feel hurt compared to someone else has a different sun sign and they don't even care. They just walk out if they lose a job, but it might be very like big thing for you. And Sun in 11th house, it's the house of organization, groups, friends, institution. So for you, it's very important to be part of something. Your self-identity is really linked with what kind of organization, groups you're part of, what kind of friends you have. So you always want to involve in something. Like if you are, let's say you're rejected by a group, you get kicked out, or people don't want to hang out with you anymore, or a certain groups, like you might did something different and then they said like, oh, you don't fit in our group anymore. It might be hard for you to process, since your sense of self is kind of linked to that group. So for you, being like recharge energy is really, how can you find a group organization or friends that really shares the same value that you share. So that really gives you being part of something that bigger than yourself, maybe being part of a cause, really gives you the energy and vitality you need to move through life. Sun in a 12th house. Like this is my placement, so it feels totally different. So it says like sun falls in a 12th house. Like sun is at its peak in 10th house, but start falling in 11 and 12. And 12 is like sun is pretty much hidden and it has hard time to shine. So that means like you have the weak ego, or your sense of self is not very strong. Some people call it like empath, like you don't have energetic boundaries because your core, the sense of self that separates you from others, which is your sun sign, is in the house of hidden, the hidden house, or the house of unconscious, house of unseen world. So having something so bright wants to be seen, putting in somewhere that's hidden that nobody can see is really like a conflict. But also like there's also saying that like having your sun in there, probably like you're at the like last incarnation because you're purging out your ego, because your ego is like very strong in the first house, and slowly after going through the 12 archetype lessons, now you're purging the ego identities and letting go all the ego attachments. So you might have a weak ego, but it also actually serves you to let go all the lower vibration attachments. So having your sun in a 12, you are really come here to transform certain, so it's more of a collective house. So you are here to transform a human suffering. It could be related to whatever area of your life right now you think you've been through a lot, or you learn, like you will suffer and then you gain wisdom, and that wisdom helps you to transform a certain part of societies, like no longer serving humanity anymore. So that's your superpower. And I know it's not easy placement to have. I can definitely make a separate video, go dive deeper into this. So this is my conclusion for the sun through 12 houses. I don't want to ramble too long. I will be making individual videos each zodiac sign, so watch out for that. And if any of this resonates, let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. I will talk to you guys in my next video.